So we've analyzed over 1,000 restaurants, and the top 10% performing restaurants all did the same thing. And I'm gonna show you what that is. In order to get to that, we have to be able to break down the experience flow. Now, if you haven't mapped out the experience flow in your restaurant, that's absolutely crazy. This is your customer journey, right? We have to map it out in order to be able to properly execute it at a high level. So if you're trying to map it out through, like, let's say steps of service, it's not gonna work because there's a lot of steps before that and there's some steps after that, right? We have to make sure that we're mapping out the experience and the experience flow as much as humanly possible, and then we can start fine-tuning everything to be able to get to the results we want to get to, right? Which is ultimate hospitality, consistent guest experience, elevated service, right? So we want to make sure that we're really, really focused on that, and we're only gonna be able to do that with this. So we want to come and start at the top here, right? Which is kind of like the intro, right? So anticipation before guest arrival. So what are we doing to anticipate the guest arrival? This gets dropped a lot because I'll give you an example, right? It's my anniversary, okay? So I'm going in, I'm making a reservation, and I put, are you celebrating anything special? I put, it's my anniversary. So if I'm telling you that it's my anniversary, that should be a big deal to you as a business, right? Because I'm choosing to spend my 1 year celebrating a very, very important day at your restaurant. I chose your restaurant, and you should appreciate that. So if you're calling to confirm my reservation, for example, I'm confirming your reservation. By the way, thank you so much for celebrating your anniversary with us. We're so excited. Right? We can't wait. How many years are you celebrating? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Congratulations. Can't wait to meet you in person. We're really excited. Okay, now obviously there's some obvious stuff here, right? We can confirm allergies, preferences, all that good stuff. Talk about parking, which would be huge. I've been to restaurants where parking is absolutely atrocious, and they're calling to make a confirm reservation, but they don't call us to let us know about the parking. Dress code is huge, right? If you have a dress code, let's convey that to them now before they show up. So little things like that, but also more importantly, how do we get a personal touch in there, right? How do we maybe get there? By the way, it's your first time dining with us? Have you been here before? Oh, awesome. Wow, congratulations. You're gonna freaking love it. We'll let your server know it's your first time, and so they can make the right recommendations for you. How'd you hear about us, right? Little things like that. Next, we go to arrival and warm welcome, right? So when they arrive, how are we approaching them when they arrive? How are they making them feel like a valued guest? And within seconds, right? So there's little tips and tricks you can do by just simply waving at them, acknowledging them, even if there's a line. If there's a wait, there's multiple people, and I'm checking someone in, welcome, I'll be right with you. Yeah, fantastic, right? And really, really connecting with the guests, but that's important. Arrival and warm welcome. This is huge. Seating, table, and table readiness. So seating the table and how we're making sure the table is actually ready for them, right? But how we see the table is very important. How we're walking them to the table is absolutely crucial. What does that look like? Have you mapped that out for your hostess? Have you mapped that out for a server who might sit someone? Have you mapped out for your managers? This is exactly what it looks like every time we seat a guest. Not, okay, you're gonna seat them, make sure you stay on their pace, and make sure you just try and make conversation with them along the way. Ask them how they're doing. No. Here's exactly what we're gonna do every single time, step by step, systemized, okay? And then when we do that, we'll get to the level we want to get to. After that, a connection and guest mapping. So this is really important. The server's first impression defines a relationship. Guests want to feel known, safe, and personally cared for, right? So they want to feel known. Whether it's my first time or not, I still want to feel known. So I want to actually ask a question about, is it your first time? Awesome, welcome. Are you local? Are you from out of town? Oh, very cool, right? Just start that conversation with them. And then next is they feel safe. Safe not as in I'm going to get attacked, but safe as in I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable because I feel like everyone cares and they're friendly and they're here to take care of me, right? So if my server's a little bit short, if my bartender's too cool for school, if the hostess is lack of energy, doesn't seems like she cares, I'm not going to feel safe. Right? I'm going to feel a little bit anxious about asking for maybe a side or asking a little bit more detail about a dish or asking for another napkin or whatever it is. I'm going to feel uncomfortable asking for those things, which was only going to guide me to have a better experience. And now that I'm feeling uncomfortable asking for those things, I'm no longer fully enjoying my experience. Right? I'm more worried about these little things. So we have to make sure they feel safe. Next is personally cared for, which means we just got to show them that we genuinely care. If it's their anniversary, how are we showing them we genuinely care? Besides saying happy anniversary, here's a glass of champagne or here's a free dessert. How are we genuinely showing them that we care? We really appreciate you spending your 1 day out of the year here. Thank you for choosing us. That's amazing. But we're freaking honored. So how do we make them feel that we're cared for? Next is storytelling and menu guidance, right? So we want to tell stories and through the menu guidance. So there's two things telling stories. We want to begin the storytelling process of immersive experience, right? We want to build community, we want to build loyalty, we want to build retention, right? I want their loyalty. I want them coming back, and I want to build community. I want them to know this space. I have to get them connected to the restaurant. So why does this restaurant exist? Why does it exist? What's the purpose behind it? What was the thought? What was the owner's vision and mission and dream? What is our vision, mission, and dream? And then menu guidance, right? When I'm walking through the menu, storytelling, am I telling you how freaking amazing these things are, these dishes are, and why they're so amazing? Do we have wild caught fish? Do we have local produce? Is our meat vendor grass-fed, grass-finished, right? Is all of our sauces made in-house from scratch? Or pasta made in-house from scratch? All of those little things matter. Do we make the sourdough in-house? Do we use sourdough pizza dough instead of regular pizza dough? All those little things matter. Why do you want the difference between the two of them? We have to be storytelling the entire time. We have to systematize that and train it. And then rhythm of service is obviously the pace of service, making sure that we are pacing it at the right level at the right time, and making sure that we're turning tables fast, but also giving guests an amazing experience. We're getting the right amount of drinks in. We're giving enough time to get a second, maybe third drink while still turning the table at the appropriate time. That's mastery when it comes to table turning. And then attentive presence, right? We are present while we're serving the guests. The presence matters, and they can feel it, right? We can feel that if we need something, we can get it. We know that they're checking in on us the whole time. I went to a restaurant, and they didn't check in on us once after we got our food to the time when she asked us if we're ready for a check. She didn't check on us once, so she didn't know that we didn't get one of our sides, that we got one wrong side, and that one dish was overcooked. She couldn't tell, right? So she comes back at the very end, and Buster's refilling our waters the whole time. He's not engaged at all, and she comes up. She's like, was there anything else I can get for you? She guys want any boxes? Like, are you curious about how the meal went? Because we have some feedback, right? But it was too late. After that, it's like, we're going to be part of the 80% of people who just don't say anything in the restaurant, will pay our bill, and never come back. If anybody asks about it, don't go there. And then the sweet finish, obviously, upselling a dessert and coffee is so huge. After dinner cocktail, super simple, but it's all about the way you frame it. If you're like, do you guys want anything else? Do you guys want to see a dessert menu? Probably going to be a no, right? But if you're like, by the way, I know you're probably super full from that meal, but it's going to be criminal if I don't tell you about our freaking creme brulee. They put basil in it and allspice. It is freaking amazing. You would never think creme brulee and basil go together, but it's amazing. And it's a limited time dessert. So even if you just have a bite, I recommend getting it. But I'm just throwing it out there. It's up to you, right? Now you're starting to sell. Now you're starting to sound like that this is something that they actually want. And you're enticing them. And if you have a great dessert there, then boom, they're going to be happy. And the farewell is really important. We want to talk about a couple things. We want to talk about getting a review, right? Asking for a review. Again, it's all about framing. How was everything? Was everything beyond your expectations, right? Was there anything I could have done better? No? Thank you so much for the feedback. By the way, if you guys do me a favor and just leave a review, it would mean the world. Like just honest review would mean the world. You can just scan this QR code. You're good to go. I'm going to go process your payment. I'll be right back. I'll give you some time to fill that out, right? If I had an amazing experience with a really good server who took the time to connect with me, gave me a big smile, really cared, guess what? Yes. The answer is freaking yes. And then after that is the afterglow, right? So what can we do to leave them with something? So unreasonable hospitality, that Will Couture had a great thing where he's like, we're gonna give them overnight oats, right? And so that next morning after they eat, they have something in the morning to eat from the meal and think about us even further, right? A little bit more of a personal touch that we to contribute to their experience. So little things like this matter, but you have to put them together. Now, this looks like a lot, right? And this is basically just a basic. I mean, this is one map that turns into 10 different maps. If you're really, really putting this together at a high level, if you're thinking like Ritz-Carlton or Chick-fil-A or, Ding Tai Fung, Carbone, right? This turns into 10 different maps. That's a lot, but we help you put that together, and actually I do it for free one time only. I'm actually doing it for a live event I'm hosting on the 18th. So if you're interested, it's 2 one-hour events back to back. And so I'm going to be training all that stuff, that map all around this that grows it even further. I'm going to build all that out for you, show you how to build it out, give you all the tools. It comes with a bunch of free bonuses just for showing up. You get free video training on server, bartender, host, server, just like this setup. I walk you through how to train them from top to bottom. But we also have downloadables for your back of the house, your front of the house, P&Ls, leadership development, train the trainer. We have the Ritz-Carlton playbook, the Chick-fil-A playbook, all of that is part of the package when you show up for this free event. Now, full disclosure, it's from my book launch. So if you learn everything you need to learn to be able to build this out for your entire restaurant, top to bottom, and you want to buy a book at the end, awesome. If you don't, my gift to you just for showing up and supporting my big day. Other than that, this is what you want to build out to take things to the next level, to make it super crystal clear of what your goals are. And then you can add levers onto everything to understand, what do I need to improve on? right? To make this tighter, to make this better, right? And then that's when you start really cooking with oil. I ran this with a restaurant owner who has 5 restaurants, having a really hard time getting any of this down. Basically, he had no buy-in. No buy-in with his staff, no buy-in with his servers, his bartenders, his managers. They weren't giving an elevated experience. They were doing well still. Numbers were there, but he knew there was no experience. They weren't building any community. They weren't building any loyalty and retention. And so once we got this down, he said, it's now become fun. Like the experience is now fun. Now it's fun because now we're just figuring out how to get better, instead of just this big pile of chaos, which she was dealing with every single day. So if you're interested, start putting this together. If you want this map, just click the link below and we'll give you the map. If you want to sign up for the event, again, it's absolutely free. I teach it for free. Now, this is a tool that I actually give away. It's a product that I sell right now. I stopped the sales, and just for my book launch, giving it away for free. That's why it's a 2-hour event, because there's so much information. For the first time ever, I'm giving this product away for absolutely free, but only online. There's no replays. You have to show up, participate, support my book launch, and if you're interested, buy a book. And then we will get you hooked up and dialed into whatever you need to do, be able to execute those things, like I said. So other than that, take this, implement in your restaurant. Don't start next week, don't start next month, start today. Take action.